go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the stock market as it gets ready to open here in the next 8 minutes. Of course, taking a look over here at the Bitcoin price chart in the altcoin market like XRP and Ethereum. Taking a peek over there at gold, the DXY, any news that's going on, checking out the economic calendar as we get ready for the day to start out. So I've spent my morning like I typically do, poking around everywhere, looking to see what's going on in the markets today. Pretty tame day out there, just not a whole lot going on out there. And we'll just talk about that really quick so we can kind of have an idea that the market's just kind of stalled out currently right now. So Bitcoin sits right here a little bit above 27,000. It's $27,068 as I am live this morning on May 16th, 2023. I've been going through this in videos and talking about this in live streams, and I do believe this is just a throwback backtest of a broken support in here. I'm still thinking we're heading down lower in here. It's my best guess for what's going on here with Bitcoin. But really, we're just stalled out right in here. There's been no breakdown, no break up, no anything. We've just been stalled here for, 13 hours, just sitting right there above $27,000. So nothing has really been going on in there. Same story goes for XRP. As we know, it's been stuck there since 8 days ago, just sitting right there. Of course, that is right above the 200-day moving average. So not a whole lot to say on the front of this guy right in here, as it still just sits there and chills. We're just kind of patiently waiting for a decision to get made in there. Ethereum, kind of the same story. Still, prices have been sitting exactly where they're at in this tight little range for about 24 hours right here at about $1,818, $1,818. The stock market, as we get ready for the day to open and for the markets to open in the next 6 minutes, it is down to start the day. So we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average down about 1/3%, the S&P 500 down about 1/3%, and the NASDAQ down about 1/4%. Looking up here on this list, we could see yesterday, Coinbase was the big winner yesterday, up about 6%. But when this market does open here in just a few minutes, most of this market will be in the red, albeit not a significant amount. It will mostly be in the red. The only ones that are slightly ticking in the green right now, they're practically flat, and that would be Google and that would be Tesla, up about 0.12% for Tesla and 0.03% for Google. Everything else is sitting there in the red. We do have yields that are up this morning. As for gold, ticking down a little bit today. It's down about $8 this morning, still struggling up there at the all-time high, which it has butted into 3 times over the course of the last 3 years. Still unable to get through there just yet, waiting on that. As the DXY has a little bit of a shove up yesterday and the day before, but here we are. We're still just kind of stalled out right here for the DXY. Not much to say about that. So really, it's just kind of a tame waiting on the DXY, waiting on gold, waiting on the stock market as it sits here back at these retracement levels. And while Bitcoin is threatening that this was nothing more than just a back test in here. So I put out a video last night. So I was late to the party yesterday in releasing a video because I was writing the newsletter all day long yesterday. And I did do an audio voiceover recording, which is 22 minutes long. There's a link in the description of this video or of this live stream to the newsletter that I wrote, talking about meme coin mania, a look at the charts, optimistic or a warning sign. As the market moves from depression to euphoria, how people are taking the risk for the next shiny meme with pre-sales and decentralized exchanges. Just kind of going through a lot of the stuff that's going on there with meme coins, because if you haven't been hearing about it, you haven't really been paying attention to crypto. It's been pretty much the euphoric thing to be chasing right now. And then in yesterday's video, when I was going through that and doing all that studying on memes and is there a cyclical behavior of when those things actually take off? Like, is it just random when they occur? Or do they occur at like specific places where people finally feel like, you go back 4 months ago, right? And you say, how many thousands and thousands of people all had the exact same idea that Bitcoin was going to $12,000, right? $15,500 or $16,000, unwilling to touch Bitcoin because it was going to drop to 12, 15 to 12. I'm way too smart of an investor. I will not touch that. It is going to 12, sir. And then when you get here, suddenly everything gets thrown to the wind. It's whatever extreme risk taking, throwing money in Uniswap and buying anything with a silly name to it, hoping to get in and out. And we all know it's not even really investing. It's really it's quick gambling, right? It's like get in, get out, and leave the bag stuck on someone else, because we all know it's only going to last a couple of days before it goes to zero. But is there actual specific times in a market where these things do happen? And as you guys know, there's a pre-sale that's been going on for a week, and some dude raised $7 million, and people just free caringly just threw money at this guy. If you don't know about it, I'm not going to go into it too much, but anyway, the market went from being depressed of saying we're going to 12K to suddenly just YOLO throwing money everywhere, right? Just absolute care to the wind, throw it everywhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I lose all my money. I'm willing to do anything. Does that particularly happen at specific places? And in the video I put out yesterday, I showed that we've been talking about the structure for a while. We've been talking about going back into a 702 retracement. And then we went back and reviewed, and I went back and reviewed the meme season from May of 2021. And it happened at this exact same spot. And the peak of it happened at this exact same spot. And that's exactly what we just saw. Right here on May 5th, is that this is the time where Pepe peaked as well. If you don't know, Pepe reached an over $1 billion market cap. Same exact story. We have the same exact behavior. So it just adds more confluence to the idea that I think this is kind of a bigger correction than a lot of people think. Yesterday on Twitter, I was also still seeing stuff of people saying, I see people that are shorting $27,300 support. Why would anybody do that? And I'm thinking to myself, what makes you think this is support right here? This is a throwback that is happening right in here. In order for that not to be true, you would at least want to see this level get crossed in here. I mean, even if you're going to be kind of liberal with your wave counts in here and say wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within wave 3, you would want to see at least, and not be worried about that. Wave 4 hits wave 1, right? That's just kind of the rule that you get stopped out by wave 1, and that if you're going to think we're going to go higher, to at least be able to get beyond that, which it did not. So even that adds more confluence to it to say, hey, just kind of keep it in mind. Thing could be pulling back. Trust me, I don't. This is not the most fun time for me as a YouTuber to be like, I think we're pulling back, and it's just kind of stalled out and we're waiting. I much more prefer the times when we're optimistic. The peak of the market in 2021 was not exactly a fun time to sit there and say that. It's not fun to sit here and say this, because this is what none of us want. We'd rather get this market and this show on the road, but it is what it is. We got to deal with it. I think there's still going to be that kind of capitulative move. So just kind of, know that's how things usually end. They usually end with a capitulation. They end with a fear. They end with a narrative. And, you can just go over here on CNBC. Stock futures slip on disappointing Home Depot forecast and debt ceiling worries. You guys know in the markets in the morning yesterday, we were laughing at it because they had to keep switching this back and forth as the market went positive, and then as it went negative, they had to keep changing debt ceiling worries. Yesterday, the market did close green, and I took a screenshot of it. I don't have it to be able to share it with you here on the screen because I haven't uploaded it or anything, but it says S&P 500 closes higher Monday as debt ceiling negotiations in Washington are set to resume. So again, we go back to debt ceiling stuff. So this will essentially change. The narrative will change constantly based on what the price action of the market is for that day. If the price action is down, they're going to say debt ceiling worries. If the price action is up, they're going to say optimism on debt ceiling negotiations. Ignore the narrative. We just got to wait it out and see how these things are going to go as time progresses. But now that the market has opened, Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 147 points, which is down about 0.44%. The S&P is down 0.25%. The NASDAQ a little bit better, down 0.05%. So it looks a little bit better than it did in pre-market. United Health, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, all slightly in the green. Tesla, which was one of the ones that was in the green, slipped slightly red. I think they have earnings today. And there you go. slipped a little bit green in there. So I do believe Tesla has their big investor shareholder meeting thing today. So we'll see how that goes. There we go. Getting a little bit of green to show up in there as NASDAQ is battling to turn green in here. There you go. NASDAQ trying to go green. S&P still red. Dow is the one that really kind of took the slip. So Coinbase down about 2% as the market opens. The leader of the losers on the list that we have right in here, at least, Coinbase down about 2%. How is the market reacting based on opening? Nothing crazy with opening. Look at Bitcoin right in here. Looks like it's just kind of sitting flat still. There was nothing that changed as the market actually ended up opening. So it's still just kind of a wait and see. And, we've really kind of noticed it over the just ever since FTX collapsed, mixed results on how tied Bitcoin is to the stock market. So it has been an interesting observation that it has not been perfectly tied just over these last few months. But either way, looks like Ethereum ticked up slightly a little bit as the market did open. There seems to be like an API error going on today. You can see that others is at the top of the list at 6.65%. That's going to include everything excluding the top 10. If this is just not mathematically possible for it to be sitting here at the top of the list at 6.65%, because we would need to have a bunch of these exceeding at least 6.65%. So TradingView must be having some kind of error this morning. But all right, that's what we're looking like as we open. Dow 112 points to the downside, about 1/3%. S&P about 1/4%. NASDAQ pretty much flat. We've got a mixed day over here over on equities right now. Looks like yields are up this morning. I saw TXMC post this over there on Twitter, and he sent me it in a DM. That looks like the 30-year yield is the highest it's been since we had the banking collapse stuff happen back in March. I don't know how to interpret that. I would say this looks like accumulation, but not too convinced. I could see this as just being ABC in here. And then, how these things can go. They can just waddle like this, and then the bottom falls out of them. I'm not even going to guess on the 30-year, nor would I even really know how to interpret the real meaning of 30 years. Most people pay way more attention to the 10-year. This is where your interest rates are going to be based off of. And you can just see this is, the federal funds rate, how it's continued to rise in here. And just that the 10-year was not able to keep up. So they played that catch-up game, and then they surpassed it. Once they surpassed it, and then it never caught up, it's when they really started slowing down to those 25 basis point rate hikes. Now just kind of waiting to see if the 10-year is going to catch up to it or not, as the 1-month yield still sits ridiculously high. Nobody wanting to get in on this thing to get past June 1st, which is the deadline for the debt ceiling, and the U.S. Treasury having to default, whether that be on Social Security, Medicare, or on U.S. Treasury interest payments. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. All of us are accustomed to them following through with it and getting something done at the last minute. Bond market is screaming otherwise. We'll see how that thing ends up playing out. As for news in the cryptocurrency market, I already went ahead and dove through all of this. I didn't see anything of interest in here. That's why I said, at the beginning of this, I'm like, it seems just kind of like a tame day out there. One, we don't have a whole lot of price action, and the news hasn't really changed that much since yesterday. We just don't have a ton going on in here. And like usual with CoinDesk, just a cluster mess over here with nothing truly standing out in regards to notable news happening in here. Looking over there on CNBC, kind of the big news is Home Depot. Home Depot sales down, and forward outlook and guidance not so hot. So what Home Depot's poor outlook means for the stock market and the economy, it's hard to trust anything that comes out of CNBC in here, but just an awful earnings report from the stock market's most important retailer on Tuesday, Home Depot. The bottom line, the broader market implications of Tuesday morning's post-earnings stock move for Home Depot are going to be significant. Home Depot's down 5% pre-market. Anyway, yeah, that's what they said. Sales are down, and forward guidance on sales are down, which is interesting. Home Depot is just do-it-yourself stuff, right? Looking over there at Bloomberg. Oh, wait, let's go back here one more time. Still, debt ceiling is the story. Retail sales rose 0.4% in April, less than expected. So here we go. You got retail sales up. Home Depot saying retail sales are down. What data is real? All right. Yellen warns time is running out ahead of the Biden-McCarthy meeting. So I guess there's a meeting coming up in regards to the debt ceiling. Of course, this is all just theater. They have to let us know about every important meeting and get our anticipations up that, hey, this is so important. Either they're going to do something or they're not. It doesn't matter how much we stare at it. We'll wait and see how things end up going. Economic calendar, not a whole lot of significant importance here, at least in the United States. You had industrial production month over month and manufacturing production month over month, which both exceeded, but both not that important on impacting the stock market, which we can obviously see by looking at that. Still, we go red. Doesn't matter that we beat expectations. Red, red, red. The bigger ones are always those inflation numbers and whatever the Fed ends up doing. As for the rest of the day for the United States, not a whole lot going on in regards to the economic calendar. Tomorrow, I believe it's the same story. You have building permits, so housing stuff, crude oil inventories. I think we mentioned that yesterday, crude oil and housing. Otherwise, as for the news, it's still just going to be the same old thing. It's going to be waiting to see what happens with the debt ceiling coming up in 2 weeks. It looks like there's some concern coming out of Home Depot sales data suggesting that consumers are getting tight with their money. Nothing really going on in crypto news that seemed notable to me or memorable to me. The DXY still just sits a little bit flat. Gold still just struggling. Dow pulling back today. And then crypto, looks like Ethereum went from 1818, market open, went to 1820, market now down to 1817. Not a big deal, still sitting flat. As XRP still sits flat, and as Bitcoin still sits right here after this throwback. So kind of just a patience thing. I would say nothing has really changed in the market since yesterday morning when we did markets in the morning, or since I put out a video last night. Things are still the same. I think the notable thing was what I mentioned over here in the newsletter, link in the description, is that a lot of people probably aren't thinking we're in a correction, which I've been kind of vocal that I thought what we are, and that the meme coin behavior in there was the same psychological behavior that we saw back in 2021. People just throwing their money, no care in the world of where it goes to or who they give it to in pre-sales, and trusting that Twitter personalities, anonymous Twitter personalities, will give them money. It just reminds me of like, give me 10 Bitcoin, or give me 1 Bitcoin, I'll give you back 10 Bitcoin. And like thousands of people go for it and send $7 million. So it could totally be a giant scam. These pre-sales, they could totally be a giant scam, and people will have fallen for it again. The market never really learns anything when we get greedy, but we'll see how those things go. Of course, I don't cheer for anybody to get hurt, but it is just astonishing. People always, when we're in the thick of like extreme panic or extreme euphoria, people like, especially like in November, December, people are just like, how could you possibly be bullish on the market? And just saying like, this market's crazy. The general retail herd is its own like collective animal. It's the wildest thing in the world. It all gets fearful together. It all gets scared together. It has the same downside targets together. And then when things return with excitement, it all gets euphoric together. It all gets irrational and stupid together. And that's just kind of some of the behavior that we have exhibited in here when it comes to buying any name thing that could potentially be funny to hopefully pump and dump it really fast, or to send money to a pre-sale. That's the one I'm watching to see how that one really works out, because I know there's a lot of ties in that one. I'm not going to mention the name of it, but I'm sure many of you know what I'm talking about. Over the course of this next week, we'll see how that pans out. I just don't want to give it any like actual attention. It's either you know what it is or you don't. So, sorry. I'm sure there's 1,200 people watching right now. There's probably 950 or 1,000 of them. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway. Eric Martin says, I was once that person, BCB. Yeah, I know. A lot of people were. And so if you guys don't know this, you probably do. But every single comment that gets posted on the Blockchain Backer YouTube channel gets manually reviewed. And that is to try to prevent the scammers. You would say to yourself that nobody should fall for the trap of send me 1, I'll send you back 10. But it absolutely does happen. It happens to very smart people, and it especially happens to new people that come into this market. And so for the last, I think we have crossed now 2 years at this point of manually reviewing every single comment that goes onto this channel. and not one scam getting through for 2 weeks or 2 years. Now one. And as you guys know, they're littered everywhere on YouTube. So, all right. Hundreds. I would say it's hundreds of thousands at this point. I did get a notice once in 2021 or 2022. It said we approved 100,000 comments, which we definitely block more comments from scammers than there are real comments. So it was definitely more than 100,000 in 1 year. BFG LTD says, is Bitcoin doing bottoming structure now on wave 7? I don't see clear crashing structure in here right now. I would say better guess would be that, you have, like we have here, you have ABC happening in here. While this is kind of sloppy in here, and I wouldn't say it's a perfect Elliott wave at all, I'd more so be watching this level. This is kind of the one I'm paying attention to right in here for potentially that. And the reason why is because I see 5 very clear waves here, and typically in wave 3 we're going to see very clear waves. So we have wave 1, 2, and 3, which is an ABC, and then within the C leg we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would not call this the crashing structure. I'd call this more of an ABC correction happening in here. And there's a difference between ABC and crashing. So, but very clear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see how wave 4 gets stopped out by wave 1 in here to then go on for wave 5. But then this would also only be wave 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 getting stopped out by 1 to go in for 5. But yeah, so I don't think we're going to get this high. I don't think we're going to get up here to 28.3. If we do, so be it. But I just don't think we will. I think we will turn over and go for the plunge. There hasn't been that capitulative scary moment yet. And that's one thing that usually happens in moves. Like when you can gracefully fall from here, you can gracefully fall from $31,000, and we can fall down 16%, and the market not get that panicked. The market not really care. It takes that final flush of something to happen in a market. Usually there's going to be a narrative attached with it at the same time. Something scary happens at the same time where the price moves really fast. I do look to the future here, and I can pretty much see it, that every Federal Reserve expert we've dealt with in 2022, every Twitter Fed expert that we've dealt with, also Ukraine-Russia war expert, German natural gas expert, every expert, C19 expert is going to then become a debt ceiling expert. And the whole herd will then be worried about debt ceiling, right? And that's where I'm going to be interested in. So anybody out there who's a news wire person who has to trade the news, when you are selling due to the debt ceiling, I will likely be buying your bags off of you. I just want to let you know that. So when you come onto my channel and you start commenting on my Twitter and you're saying, don't you understand the debt ceiling? This is for you, buddy. This is for you. Okay. You can tell I deal with that a lot. All right. Let me see here. Let's go. All right, let's hop in here. So this is what we got. It's a boring day. Welcome to Tuesday. Just like the most boring day of the week, along with the most boring price action that we've had. Take it. You know what I would say? Appreciate it when it's here. Because you all know it. We have days that are absolutely chaotic. Sometimes you want to crawl into a hole and crawl into a corner and just curl up in a tight ball and kind of rock back and forth and kind of cry. It's not today. Today is just a calm day here in the market with not a whole lot going on. So I think kind of just go on and enjoy your life and get ready for tomorrow with it's Wednesday, my dudes. Stock market's a little bit mixed. You got the NASDAQ up, you got the S&P about flat, and then you have the Dow down about 72 points. Mixed day over here in equities, nothing big, nothing more than 2% to the upside, nothing more than 2% to the downside. Yields up, gold, metals down, except for platinum, up $1. DXY slightly down. There you go. Ethereum back to 1822. Super massive volatility. XRP still sitting right there and just kind of waiting on this throwback here for Bitcoin to see if we get a capitulative move to pull it back down to these price levels down in here. And so otherwise we just sit. We just sit here waiting. I think the bigger thing is just kind of recognizing where we are at this particular point is that we watched meme mania happen at the exact same place that we typically see it happen at. It just added more validity to the whole idea I've been discussing here for the last month and a half, and that we saw the euphoria degen behavior of retail investors come out right here into this retracement, just as we did in 2021. This was the same place where SHIB peaked in 2021. It's the same exact place where Pepe peaked here in 2023. So I'm just not completely convinced we haven't seen that that panic that typically comes in here just yet. But as a reminder, while people are get ready for it, right? Market manipulation, we're going to 12K. They'll be back. Don't worry, they will be back. They always do. I will, unfortunately for them, become bull. And not only that, we are actively searching for bottoms, right? We know that XRP currently sits right on top of its 200-day moving average. We're just going to keep continuing to look for bottoms. And the thing is, like, I'm uncertain what will happen with XRP in regards to a move down, because what we watched happen here is we watched Bitcoin break through supports down in here. XRP remained unfazed by it, right? You have a lot of these altcoins that are sitting in levels that are appealing. Like somebody asked yesterday about H bar. That has been a very intriguing level to me. It's a price I personally, for me, wanted to pay for H bar. But I am cautious of this. Could this price on Bitcoin move down and H bar not? Typically, we would say, no, it has to move down. It's going to move down because that's what happens at the same time as Bitcoin moves down. Maybe there's something crazy that happens where H bar goes like this, and then Bitcoin falls and H bar comes back for a second time like this. But is it possible to fall and for an altcoin not to fall? I think we just witnessed that just here in this past week with XRP. But to place the bet that it won't, to say, it's not going to, it's a hard bet to make. So I'm still just kind of sitting back cautiously waiting for Bitcoin to give us a bigger move. And if they remain unfazed during a move like that, this is the price I'll be paying for H bar. This is the price I wanted to pay all along. I just do sit there about that. And so I have already, like I said, I put like 10% of the capital I intended to put in to XRP already. And the rest of it is waiting in case we do get this type of move down here in Bitcoin. Then I will deploy the capital, as Doquan says, right? Study lads, deploying more capital. All right. That's it for today, guys, in regards to the price charts. It's a calm day. We're waiting. Enjoy your day today. I don't think we'll have calm days every day. I think the bigger, kind of crazier days are not too far away. So enjoy today. As for the stock market, there you go. Now it flips back. Dow Jones down 170 points now as the day kind of gets progressing. Platinum up $2. Gold still struggling up there. DXY still sitting right here. No news to go on there. It's going to be the same story all week long for the next 2 weeks. Debt ceiling, debt ceiling, debt ceiling. Here we go. Bitcoin's starting to get a little bit of price action happening in there. Let's see if we're going to do anything. Maybe not. All right, let's hop into the chat, guys. Oscar Hernandez right out the gates. Thank you, sir. And Whiskey too. Look at that. My two guys right out the gates. Like the video. The content is rare. It's unadulterated truth with a very supportive audience. Just like it, okay? Glad I made it today. Still adjusting to new baby and life demands, but we're making it. Right on, man. Is it your first baby, Whiskey too? If it is, then yeah, man. You're adjusting for sure. You should have a support group with Eric. He's living that same life. Thank you, Whiskey. Thank you, Oscar. Texas Takeover. Yesterday's video was a gem. Thank you, BCB. Dude, thanks, man. Texas Takeover. Appreciate it. Oscar Hernandez. Me YOLOing into BCB lives. Thank you, Oscar. Blockfella, BCB, the MJ of crypto. Let me say that's Michael Jordan. Isn't the NASDAQ and Dow Jones both looking like the stock market in January of 2002? Also looking like the Wall Street cheat sheet at complacency. Yeah, this is what I've talked about many times. This is a retracement and a bubble pop, right? The ultimate danger. Right? It's like the cheat sheets and all that stuff. It's just based off of normal technical stuff. This right here is your normal technical stuff, and that you could be heading into Great Depression right now. The thing is, like we talked about last year, and I can pull up the tweet and try to have it available for the next live stream, was saying timing it of when it's going to fall apart is going to be very difficult to do. I will pull it up. I said, hey, we've gotten back here, but timing how long this could fall over could take years. And at this point right now, I think we're like 6 months into it, right? 181 days, right? 181 plus 181, that's 262, or 362. That's about half of a year, right? So we've been sitting here for 6 months with nothing happening. But absolutely. If you're looking at a Wall Street cheat sheet, you're going to eerily see that. Eerily. And I talk about, I just reiterate this point super hard. Bitcoiners wanting Bitcoin to go into a new all-time high. Your Bitcoin was created right there. That's where your Bitcoin was created. Every time you broke out into a new all-time high, 2013, boom, it happens right as the Dow breaks out of financial crisis. Am I really doing this again? Of course I am. 2017 bull run, right when the Dow Jones breaks out. 2020, 2021 bull run, right when the Dow Jones breaks out. I remember I conducted a poll last year and I said, will the Dow Jones set a new all-time high, or will the stock market set a new all-time high within the next 5 years? Like 2/3 of people said no. I asked, will Bitcoin set a new all-time high within the next 5 years? 2/3 of people said yes. And it's just a complete ignoring of the macro landscape for Bitcoin. And so, if this is nothing more than a retracement and a rollover, I always say it, I have the most controversial view of Bitcoin, saying I don't think Bitcoin's going to set a new all-time high. I'd be willing to change my opinion if the stock market set a new all-time high first. But go look at that Wall Street cheat sheet and you will see that is a valid reason why to be concerned about it. And if you go through it and you look at it all and you say, this is when Bitcoin always breaks out into new all-time highs, there's no circumstances, none, to corroborate a block reward halving as being the reason why Bitcoin breaks out. It's fairy tale land. It's nonsense. Okay. And for some people right now are probably listening to that thinking, wow, you're being a total jerk. I'm not. I'm just waking you up, man. You got to go look at a chart and you will see it very, very clearly if you overlay Bitcoin's price chart with the Dow Jones and see that all these bull runs that have happened with Bitcoin have had nothing to do with block reward halvings. They've had everything to do with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And if you can do that, and then you understand where we are right now, you will understand my concern on why Bitcoin might not set a new all-time high. So, there you go. I don't know where I'm going with all this. Got a little heated. I'm passionate about it. It's like my broader view of the market. There's a big concern right here, and I just don't think most people in Bitcoin know. I just don't think they know. If the Dow breaks out and sets a new all-time high right here, I will immediately change my thought process on saying that Bitcoin will not set a new all-time high. I will then say Bitcoin could set a new all-time high. But there's way too many Bitcoiners who think it doesn't have anything to do with the stock market. It's it's an ignoring data. That's all it is. It's completely ignoring data, living in fantasy. I don't know if it has to do with because it's their business model of influence or what it is to ignore it. It's undisputable data. All right. Love you guys. I'm moving on. All right. Thank you, Blockzilla. I think that's Blockfella. There we go. Sorry. Blockfella, thank you, man. Oscar Hernandez, don't make the baby cry. Hit the like. Oscar, do you have baby Oscar Hernandez? Hit the like button, everybody. No baby crying here. Oh, you're talking about whiskey too, probably. Robert Barker. Hey, Barker. What up? Hi, BCB. Great content as always. When merch, I want a BCB t-shirt and a coffee cup. Miley very much enjoyed your shout out. Thanks, Robert Yorkshire in the UK. Like I said, I got to get that course finished, and unfortunately, I'm having a hard time making time for it. I was talking to my wife this morning. I have not had one day off in over a month. That is how much work I've been going at it. And I was thinking about it this weekend. There's a very real possibility I might actually have Sunday off as a rest day this weekend, which would be my first day off in over 1 month. But even then, it's been a struggle with how much has been on my plate to get the course completed. That's the number one priority. Get the course done. Then we can move on to merch. So it's in the pipeline, but it's not the number one priority right now. But it will be after that because what you guys are asking all the time. But I'm glad Miley liked it. Thank you. Dennis Brocker. I have some spare time. I'm looking for a good day trading strategy. Which one would you recommend? Thank you for everything. Dennis, the Netherlands. Dennis, if you don't, man, first I'd study it and practice it on paper first. Day trading has the allurement of being incredible. It's mostly a nightmare. And here's the reality of day trading is one, finding a strategy that you like, and then accepting you will not have a 100% hit ratio. Let's say if you get so good at it that you get them right 60% of the time, you are good, and 40% you get them wrong. You can be a very good day trader with these statistics. The difference is trying to figure out short positions and long positions and being able to risk manage them so that when you have your losses, which you know will happen 40% of the time, you are going to be wrong 40% of the time, you limit your losses to a smaller amount than your bigger losses. So these numbers can be completely off. You could say, hey, I only get my stuff right 50% of the time, right? I am correct 50% of the time, but I only use very specific setups when I do it. And even though it's just like a coin flip, I only get it right half the time. Well, when I get it wrong, I only lose a small amount, but when I get it right, I win a bigger amount. And the math ends up playing out like that. But it ends up taking hundreds of trades. And then eventually, you become profitable. And the allurement of it is just you're going to get rich. It is totally a full-time job. If you want to do that, when I have my course and stuff, we're going to talk about a lot of different of the indicators and how people set stops. And I've already recorded all this. Setting stops at specific levels, but then also having to take a look at very specific charts and live and breathe within very specific charts, because an indicator is not going to work the same on every single chart, especially if you're going from Forex to equities to crypto to metals. You're likely going to get different behavior amongst all of those different charts. So figuring out which ones am I going to live and breathe in, 5 different charts where it's this is the only thing I focus on. And I recognize that this particular chart really doesn't respond to fibs very well, but it totally responds to moving averages, or it totally responds to Bollinger Bands on the daily time frame. And then, being able to set your risk to reward trades on each one and limit the losses based on the gains. It's not for everybody. It is not for everybody. But yeah, I wouldn't use it as something of just I've got a little bit of spare time, I want to do this. It's more of it takes real work. It's a real job. But anyway, I'll have something. Once my course gets out, there's stuff in there about technicals and stop losses and stuff. LJ, BCB, can I order 1X Navy hoodie and a t-shirt, please? Thanks. Thank you, LJ. I appreciate the super chat. I'll work on it. Work on it. It's next in the pipeline. Oscar Hernandez with the gift of a membership. Thank you, Oscar. Uh, Jaxer4, good morning. Thanks for all your help understanding these charts. After Moon, are you still planning on making content over the coming bear? I do plan on it because I think the next major thing that happens in the market is the total big meltdown. And I will be here for it. The epic meltdown. And hopefully, like, so the thing is about the coming meltdown that I think is coming, right, is that it's hard to know where safety is going to be in that, right? Is it going to be by keeping your money in banks? Is it going to be by keeping your money in treasury yields? Is it going to be by getting cash and burying it out in the middle of the woods? Is it going to be by holding precious metals? What is going to be the safety in that? And one would have to think there's going to be something. And trying to like identify it early into everything happening, and like maybe we'll be able to figure that out quickly. That's my hope. But right now, I don't think it's super clear on what it will be. Right? Is it putting all your money in the banks? Is that the safe play? I don't know. Is it putting it all in cash and burying it outside? I don't know. I mean, that's not really that safe, right? Like wind, water, tornadoes, thieves, right? How about putting it into treasuries? I don't know, right? Like what happens if they default on the debt ceiling, right? What about precious metals? I mean, maybe, but like we don't know because it was fixed during the Great Depression. Like we don't really know what happened like during the Great Depression. So it's an interesting time, and we'll definitely cover it. Let me see what you say. Robert Parsons says, "Hey." Here we go. He says, hey, BCB, hope all is well with you. Late today, been a busy morning here in the UK. No worries. Thanks for showing up, man. 1000 Awesome Dude says, hopefully BCB still talks to us after he gets to the moon. Well, I've been to the moon a couple times already before. I'm still here. But I don't think people realize now at this point, blockchain backer is a very big defining part of who I am in my life. If I gave it up and then just became a guy sitting there in front of the TV playing video games all day, it'd be a very depressing step backwards in my life. So don't worry about that. Curry Base says, what markets do you see thriving during a Great Depression in today's society, if any? Typically, you're not going to see any markets thriving, right? If anything, you're going to see probably strength in a dollar. The dollar is going to be more powerful because you can buy more because asset prices are crumbling on themselves. So the value of the dollar will go up. At the same time, we don't know it for certainty that metals would go up. We can only imply that maybe they did because the price of gold was fixed during the Great Depression back in 1929 to 1933 as the stock market fell over 80%. However, at the very bottom, the U.S. government confiscated all gold. You weren't allowed to hold more than 5 ounces of gold. Anything beyond that, you had to sell back to the government at $20.55 per ounce. And then just a year later, less than a year later, they marked the price up to like $35 and let you buy all your gold back. So for some reason, the price of gold did go up substantially during the Great Depression. But we don't have like a true chart to be able to study on it because the price was actually fixed. But for some reason, the government at the bottom of the Great Depression, made everybody sell their gold back to them, and then they let them all buy it all back for nearly double the price. So you could speculate that gold would do well during that circumstance. And historically, throughout history, when we look at it, you see that gold does not go into a bull run unless there's something happening with the stock market going down. They're just kind of inversely related to each other. So due to the inverse relationship, you would think so. But the thing to be mindful of is if there's a liquidity event where everything is getting margin called all at the same time, a lot of times we can see everything get kind of smashed at the same time, like we saw during C19 when that margin call happened there March 12th and March 13th. Gold still took a spill right there. That is just a blip on the radar right here, but then still resumed its uptrend, right? So just kind of being mindful of that. We'll see. Gold is a big hedge that I have. So I own like the same amount of gold as I do Bitcoin. I'm trying to think right now, do I own more gold than I do Bitcoin? I don't know. Let me think. I definitely own more gold than I do Bitcoin. I do. Yeah. And not more than double, though. It is less than double. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out where I am. So, Curry, thank you very much. Digital Dunce. Thank you, sir. BCB. First super. Can an old crypto be collected like physical coins? Namecoin MMC was the first alt fork in April 18th, 2011. Please chart. Only coin market cap goes back to 2011. Thanks, BCB. No, there doesn't seem to be any collectability of original like forked coins. Namecoin, huh? Man, I remember I've charted that many times. I wonder if we have to go view it on CoinTrader Pro. Yeah, we're going to have to go to CoinTrader Pro. Let's go. So this is a 12-year-old coin. No, coins do not have collectability. There we go. Sorry, I'm pulling it up. It's having to load 12. But it doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look terrible. That's funny. It's like a crash, retrace, reaccumulation over the course of like a decade. I don't know, man. I don't know. I haven't followed this in the least bit, but like it doesn't look terrible. And if it broke out, it would be like the craziest thing ever. But it's not listed like on any exchange. I think you'd have to get it on like Uniswap or something. This is the first alt fork of April in 2018. That's a good fact. I didn't know it was the first one. Which I talked about this because David Schwartz had mentioned it, and I don't think I even knew it when I saw him at Consensus, at the XRPL zone, that every single altcoin in crypto besides Bitcoin was a fork of Bitcoin until XRP came along. And XRP did it entirely differently. And so it became a threat to Bitcoin. And that was the beginning of all the hatred towards XRP. RJJH says, hey, BCB, if Ripple and XRP loses, could that be the catalyst to a collapse in the forthcoming months? Like a collapse in the economy or a collapse in the crypto market? One would think if they lose and then there's no positive outcome, it would likely be bad. That was just in the chat. Thank you, Digital Dunce. First timer, man. You nailed it. A lot of times when new people come in, they don't get that chat in there at the same time. Thank you very much. GSML. Good morning, my friend. In the past, I remember saying you own some 0x and some GRT. Do the charts still look decent on those? Hoping for retracement. I still own them both. They were like I know I said that GRT was like my Degen play. I don't even look at it. Let's look here. Yeah, I mean, it looks just like the rest of the market. That for GRT, that would be the zone I'm looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls back up, bottom, ABC, right? So then you have your ABC, right? Comes off the floor, ABC's in here, and then you could stay in here for a long time, but eventually up. For me, yes, this would be a retrace play. Same goes for 0x, ZRX. Tommy D-String, quick BCH update. Thanks for all you do. It's the same story on BCH. It looks identical to these. Where are you, BCH? Right? It's the same story. Like, this is the whole market, you guys. And like, and I wish this others chart wasn't like this right now, but it's the same story on others too. Your whole market right in here. So this is an error. This shouldn't be here. This should be down here. And then just dipping just below that low set there on March 11th. And if Bitcoin cooperates and we do see Bitcoin dip down into the green zone while we see this dip down in here, I will start deploying. Oops, wrong one. There we go. All right, Bitcoin. Like, I want to say, oh, here we go, but you know, it just hasn't done anything yet. Thank you, Tommy. It's just the same as all of them. There's nothing unique happening in that chart compared to what's happening with the market caps. Dr. Tai says, what if the, thank you very much, Dr. Tai. He says, what if Wall Street cheat sheet is to wrong foot people? Stock to set all-time high, and then Congress can exit before they pass the bill to ban themselves from owning. Exciting time we are in. Well, so here's what the Wall Street cheat sheet is. Hold on. For those who don't know. And we'll discuss it. It's really funny because it has the crashing structure in it. I think we discovered that like 6 months ago. Somebody pointed it out. Open image in new tab. Make sure there's nothing crazy on here. We look good. There you go. There's your Wall Street cheat sheet. We've got the word on the street. Psychology of a market. The feeling appearing as the market fluctuates, right? So disbelief, this rally will fail just like the rest. So think of just like this move, like, so this is like a full-blown bubble, but this is really what all little cycles are like. This is what even little cycles are like, what the psychology of little cycles are like right in here, okay? It just happens on different time frames and what big bubbles can look like and all that stuff. Where are you? I've lost you. And here we're gonna push you way over there. Okay. So then there becomes some optimism happening in the market. Then euphoria hits, right? Just like we saw back over here, euphoria. Go look at my comments on Twitter talking about, hey, like, I think, you know, we're going to have a short squeeze. This is it. Then we head back down lower and then we go for correction. After all the people screaming for we're going to 12K, I start getting called a bear who've missed it. You know, it is what it is. Euphoria. Then you go down into complacency, which need to cool off for the next rally. So in the complacency phase in here, what do you actually have? You have people thinking everything is fine, everything is awesome. I'm totally comfortable in being able to do whatever I want to do in this market. Hence meme coin mania in that phase right in there, right? Because that's where there's complacency. Nobody is worried anymore. You're not fearful. You're not euphoric. You're just comfortable in the market doing whatever you need to do, right? Think about this last week or two. Has anybody been scared of this market? Nobody's been scared of this market. People have just been like, whatever. Who cares about Bitcoin? Who cares about altcoins? Let's just go YOLO into dungeon dog YOLO poop fart. You know, didn't matter. And then, you know, things start getting crazy. But what do you see here? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your final. I don't know if I have that correct, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back up to wave 4 within wave 5, final bottom, right? Then disbelief, hope, thrill, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rolls back up to wave 4 within wave 5, 7, gone. So it's just a typical crashing structure is what it's showing here. And this isn't made up, right? So what is this actual chart that we're looking at here? Oh my goodness, come on. It's the NASDAQ, right? So this is made after the NASDAQ from back in 2000, 2001, 2003. So see how this showed us. So this isn't a Wall Street cheat. Your question, Dr. Tai, was, what if the Wall Street cheat sheet is to wrong foot people? No, it's actually made based off of this and just kind of describing what emotional sentiment was like during different phases of this. And I think we all know that to be true. Just this is how markets react. And so that's the concern here, right? So you have to understand what is the worry that's happening in here, right? Is that you had this big bubble of euphoria, right? Was this a bubble of euphoria? Was there euphoria happening in here? You dang straight there was, dude. Laser eyes, diamond hands, Wall Street bets, like all those videos with people like firing off their stimulus checks, like trying to take down the hedge funds. Like I got laser eyes, diamond hands. Nobody's going to stop me. We're in this together. We're powerful. And everybody just had unlimited money, right? Unlimited free money to throw around in the market. Did we have euphoria in this? Oh my gosh, yes. So, there just becomes this concern here of, well, look how high this thing has gotten. Have we seen bubbles like that happen? Yeah. Is that concerning? Yeah. So just kind of watching retracements, watching what's happening in here. So it's not about it being something wrong foot, people. It's just that, this is how bubble pops do look. The one thing to think about, though, is one thing I have noticed is that we usually are going to see this same type of stuff we just saw in crypto, even on this really small time frame that we just saw, this crazy meme coin stuff. But usually there is that complacency. Usually there is that throwing all care to the wind, just going crazy in markets, being euphoric and thinking, like it described it as, right? We just needed to cool off before the next rally begins. Usually there's going to be this big belief that the market is going to go ripping much higher, and that in these phases, the market is still super bullish all over again. There's YOLO, there's the fear of missing out. There's all that stuff happening in here. And we know that not to be true right now, that investors are incredibly worried right now by putting their money into high interest savings accounts right now, and that people are not confident throwing their money into the market. Now that can change, right? You could work your way all the way up into here, and then suddenly they get in, right? Like we could see a narrative change. Like if you think about it, like the debt ceiling gets lifted, the Fed pauses, and the Fed begins QE again, right? Everybody would know all of those elements right there tell me to buy the market, wouldn't they? Unlimited debt ceiling, right? They like remove the debt ceiling for 2 years. The Fed pauses, and the Fed like starts QE, right? That would be like everybody would say it's time to YOLO. That could happen there, right? And like that's like it doesn't matter. Like that's the end. That was the trap. Like you said, the Wall Street cheat sheet to wrong foot people. I could more so see it that the wrong footing would be the narrative that would come. And so it is normal to see these things. I wouldn't consider this as a wrong footing cheat sheet. This has always been here. This is what bubbles look like. And this is what bubble pops look like. But just kind of get an idea, it actually stemmed from here. That's all the Wall Street cheat sheet is that taken from the NASDAQ in 2001, 2, and 3. There you go. Thank you, Dr. Tai. Super Chad, hey buddy, take this money to buy some coal so you can have a brisket on Sunday. Brisket season when? Enjoy your day off, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I went camping like over a month ago and we cooked a brisket. I do need to make my own here at the house. I think we talked about it in here. I was like, yeah, we cheated. We used a Traeger. I don't own one personally. It was very nice to not have to like babysit. It was nice. Everybody's telling me, get a Traeger. Like, yeah, but it's cheating. Like, yeah, but like you can live your life, right? Like you can go to the store. You could do something with your kids and then come back and everything is cooking. Oh no, Oscar, well done steaks. Sir. Sir. Thank you, Super Chad. Sydney. Our sub tab on YouTube only brings up old videos. Huh. Do you have it sorted by most recent? Videos. Latest. The latest. Thank you, Sydney. But it might be sorting. Robert Parsons. Super chat with absolutely nothing in there, man. But it was generous. Thank you, man. You didn't say anything. But Robert Parsons, thank you. On Mechanized 1 says, BCB, thanks, man. Hey, he's a first timer. Learned a ton from your course and channel. What do you think about the Litecoin chart? It looks pretty bullish to me, making higher lows since 2017. Thanks. Litecoin, man, I've had a hard time with Litecoin, like building a thesis on it, right? So we've talked about this too, and it was back at like $100. Is it at a resistance level? Yes, it definitely is. But this could be an accumulation range for quite some time here. It did bottom back in June, just like a lot of the market did. We almost at 1 year of it being since the bottom was in there. But I don't see anything in here that makes me scream Litecoin's about to break out. That was a very reasonable place to stop and just continue accumulating in here for Litecoin. But again, it's one of those things, just like accumulating in a giant range. But to say that something super clear is coming out of Litecoin, I would have a hard time saying that there's anything super clear saying it's like going to break out suddenly. If Litecoin did get above, say, $117, I would probably think it's in breakout. My next concern for Litecoin would just be this area right there in this 155 to 165 zone. And then if it cleared through there, I'd be thinking like mega bull, this whole range is done, mega bull. But these are kind of my areas of like, I'm uncertain if it can actually get through here. And if it does get through here, I'm bullish all the way up to this level of like 160. But then if it can get through there, then off and away it goes. But otherwise, hard read on Litecoin to say it's doing anything anything big at this current time. Just a difficult one. Because this isn't like a super bullish structure. This is more of just like waddling your way back to a broken support, testing it and not getting through. So we need to see some conviction to get through there. In particular, just getting to like 115, and then I would sit here and say, oh, okay, I'm not concerned about that anymore. BCB. But thank you on Mechanized 1, and that's your first time super chatting. Thank you so much. Oscar Hernandez says, BCB, do you speak to BCB in third person? You have to ask my wife. Which she hasn't given me a hard time lately. I'm wondering if I haven't been doing it as much, that I do talk to myself out loud. And I would think that anybody who does this, who comes onto a microphone every single day and has to like literally talk in a room, there's nobody else in this room, right? But I sit here and like have these conversations, like I'm talking, but there's nobody here. That you just kind of get used to talking to yourself. I walk into this room and I talk to myself, but I'm talking into a computer and I'm talking to people who are going to listen to me. But in the end, I'm like seriously just standing in a room, just talking to myself. That I carry that into the kitchen with me. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, leave me alone. I love her very much. But yes, I probably speak to myself in third person all the time. And I'm sure I've done it in this live stream too. Like BCB is the man. I know, right? All right, DD, thank you for the vids. First super, second in the meltdown on Bitvavo. You can sell your coins for fiat on there, so I have it in euro. Is that smart? What? First super. Okay. Second, in the meltdown on Bitbavo, you can sell your coins for fiat on there. We'll also have it on the euro. Is that smart? I don't know. I've never heard of that exchange. I don't know, DD. I appreciate the super chat, but I'll just tell you straight up. I have no clue. Never heard of that before. DC asks, what will be the XRP pullback level after the bull run? Well, first you have to see how high is it going to go. And secondly, what are the economic conditions afterwards? So I wouldn't know that. But for years, that question always gets asked. It's like people kind of are counting their chickens before they've hatched. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ride it to $12. I'm going to sell it all and buy it all back for $2, and I'll 5x my holdings. Like they're already kind of going through that. We're not there yet. Let's see how high it gets. Let's see what happens with the market, and then you can kind of start speculating like that. But we don't have that information just yet. We don't know what the macro conditions of the market are going to be. Is it going to be Dow Jones, Goblin Town, stock market, Goblin Town, or we'll just have to see. Thank you, DC. Oscar Hernandez says, Periods When to Make Money by George Tritch. Have you heard of that image or any opinions on it? I haven't heard of it, so I can't comment on it. But my guess is going to be you make your money by buying at lows and you make your money by selling at highs. Let me see if I can find it. Periods When to Make Money by George Tritch. Is there an image on it? Or is it like I have to read something crazy? Give me an image. Okay, yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, so it's like from 1875, right? I'm wondering how real this is. You know what I mean? Because you're not the first person. There's been a lot of people sharing this. Let's see. Let me see like the first time somebody posted it. Like if there's anybody posting it like in 1999 or something or 2006. So like that's my problem with it, right? So like here's what I challenge everybody to do. First of all, is this real? Like can you find a book where it was really published in? And here I'll show you guys what this is. Open image in new tab. Right, so that it's the cyclical behavior of markets. And rumor has it, this is originally done in 1875, predicting like market cycles, compliments of George Tritch. Years of hard times, low prices, are a good time to buy stocks. And hold them to the boom until they reach good times, and then unload. Yeah, I'm sure in 1875 he was saying unload. It's a sure thing. Save this card and watch it closely. It's compiled in 1872. Copyright 1883 and 1897. Just kind of predicting times. So like the big times mentioned on here, you have 1999 and 2019. So we all know we had like the dot-com bubble back in here, 1999, right? Good times. And then you have 2019, which is actually back here. But the market went a whole lot higher after 2019, right? Into 2020 and 2021. Right? So it says 2009, it says 1999. But to be fair, it's right there. That's the end of 1999. That's the end of 2019. So market kept going higher. Where is this thing? What did I do with it? Here we go. Can we zoom in any more on this thing? There we go. So it says that we're going to go through a period of tough times through 2035. But it's hard to know because, right, it says we go through a period of tough times from 1999 to 2019. That wasn't really true. Like, I mean, the NASDAQ popped in 1999, and like we did like waddle back and forth with the Dow, right? Here's 1999. Nothing really crazy happens. But then the market's taken off in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then into 2021. The real bubble mania happens in 2021. So I don't know. So what he's using something, right? He's using some type of wave model to say there's like kind of balance in the universe and in economic cycles to say every 20 years, which is he even using consistency in here? 20, 16, 18, 20, 16, 18, 20, 16, 18, 20, 16, 18, 20, 16, 18. So there's like this balance between 2016 and 18. I don't know. I'd be curious to know, what is he mathematical stuff is he using? And I don't know, probably going back and cross-checking all of this. And then 473625, 473625. I don't know. Then I just double check all of these. I'm not going to go through and double check all of these, but I also check to see if there's evidence of when this was really posted, because I don't see anybody posting it on Twitter prior to 2000 or posting it on the internet prior to 2020. If this is from 1875 or whenever it's supposed to be, right? So here, I'll show you this. This is the one I've seen. I've seen this one. Periods when to make money. 1875. Right? Years of hard times, low prices, and a good time to buy stocks, corner lots, goods, etc., and hold till the boom reaches the years of good times, then unload. So like in 1875, they're calling it corner lots, boom, like everybody does in YouTube video titles, and then they unload. I don't know, man. This is a sure thing. Save this card and watch it closely with no punctuation right there at the end. I don't know, man. I don't know. You have to look it up. Yeah, I don't know. Cross-check it. Determine if it's real, if it's some dude who's like, was from the Wall Street Bets crowd who put it together. There you go. We went over that for a long time. Baby Oscar Hernandez has arrived saying, I lost me dodo. Necesito froggy moon time. Tomorrow is frog day. Tomorrow is frog day. So we're just getting through today, getting through Tuesday, boring market day. And then we got the frog tomorrow. Rob G says, I live in the West Coast, so I rarely have time to see you live stream in real time. Can you take a look at the polymath chart? I don't know what polymath is. Let's see. Polymath. So poly USDT. Nothing special about it. Let's take a look at volumes. I'm surprised Coinbase even has this thing listed. Coinbase has it listed, but why? How is this possible? Huh. Wait, okay, huh. How's that possible? Okay. Here we go. I'll pull it up. Here's why I say that. The volume is so low. Today alone. Wait, here we go. Today, if we go to the info tab, right? Over on Coinbase, there's been a total of 466 Polymath network tokens traded. That's Poly. at 17.77 cents times 466. The total trading volume today on this coin on Coinbase is $82. That's like nothing. You know, the day before, there's way more, right? You have 17.057. 17.057 times 0.1777. There was $3,000 worth of trading volume on it the day before. But you know, outside of some like huge volume returning back to this thing, there's just no real trading volume on it. And you can see that's kind of consistently the trading volume it has every single day. But you even go back to days back here. So that's like, you know, $6,000 in an entire day. This one right here, how many is that? 3.468 thousand traded in a day. 3, 4, 6, 8 times 0.17. That's $580 in a day. There's just not really any volume on this thing on Coinbase. I'm not really sure, man. That's why I said I haven't heard of it. Maybe a lot of people have, but there's just not really any trading volume on it. Not sure. There would probably need to be some volume returning back to that, but it doesn't look like many people are that interested in it. Thank you, Rob. Robert Barker says, hi, BCB. What are your thoughts on Solana? Do you think it will just retrace or set new all-time high? Last time when Solana broke out, it seemed to go on its own. Thanks. Well, thank you, Robert Barker. You have the same last name as my dog. Let's head over here. Solana is an interesting one on whether or not like there's still going to be interest in it, right? So like we had this exact same thing happen for Ethereum back in 2018 during the crash of 2018. It was like the identical same thing. Let's just pull it up, but we'll talk about the differences. So. Right, so these are the same crashes. These things are precisely the same. You crash, retrace, reaccumulation, your full extension, falls, breaks through these levels in here, right? Then you capitulate, right? You break through here and you capitulate, right? And now we're just kind of teetering along in here as we teetered along in here. Given enough time, Ethereum was able to turn its way up and then go on and rock into a new bull run. The only thing is, like, I've been looking at a lot of this developer stuff lately, right? And what has always happened with Ethereum is there's just always more and more developer growth on Ethereum. It is the top dog. Nothing comes close to Ethereum and the amount of devs that flock to work on Ethereum and to build on Ethereum. Solana is going the opposite direction, right? You know, there's a lot of involvement with Solana with the FTX crowd, right? So you haven't seen that. Now, could that change? It could, but from a technical structure, they look very similar. But we did notice in 2021, just because something's in the top 10, it didn't mean it was going into an all-time high. It was a fundamental change in the actual behavior of the whole market in 2021 compared to 2017. So if you try to find any type of consistencies of like, well, why did certain ones go and why did certain ones not? Well, you could see the ones that were losing massive developers like EOS, which was like in your top 5 for all of 2018, 2019, was having developer fall off, right? And then eventually it never turned back up. So with Solana, you're seeing big developer decline as well. Let me see if I just have the number. Solana, where are you? I'm gonna have to sort it alphabetically like you should. Okay. Solana. Okay, It's not like terrible, but it's not good, right? It's down 18% since December, which only makes it down 12% year over year. It's not as bad as a lot of stuff. It's still 344 developers on Solana. That's a lot of developers. But just keeping an eye on that. Does that trend continue? Otherwise, the structural setup for it is, kind of longer accumulation to go off into a new all-time high. But for me, my thoughts are, okay, a lot of these charts did these same things in 2021. What was the fundamental thing of what allowed something to go into a new all-time high and what allowed something not to go into an all-time high? I mean, that seems to be one of the factors is developer decline. And during this time period, developers were increasing for Ethereum. So we'll look for that trend to emerge in there. As of right now, I'm treating it as a retracement. But if we start seeing stuff under the hood, I might lean back more on this. But this has been my thought process. This is why I bought that dip. Everybody's kind of laughing at Solana. I went in for the kill shot and took the buy on it. But I have already taken profit on like half of it up in here. So waiting and seeing. But really, my thoughts currently right now, just the phase we're at currently right now, is just like something in here grinding along. Probably getting ready for something. We'll see. Hard to have a long-term view on Solana just currently right now. Due to all the issues that are going on with Solana and FTX and how that's going to resolve itself. But thank you, Robert Barker. Pitbull, thank you, sir. Bro, what do you think? For long-term bearish, isn't it more plausible that Bitcoin has already seen the B wave top at 31K and we are now on 5 more waves down to around 6K or lower? Kind regards. So for me personally, the first level that I would say that I'm watching, I would imagine if we're the lowest level for me, and hopefully I'm not wrong, but the lowest level that it could top out at would be here at about 40K. Personally, think it will go higher. I think we will see the things that typically draw everybody back into the market. Getting closer to that $50,000 to $53,000 level. But the one where I will start being like seriously concerned about it would be more of right in here at about 40K. I would be incredibly surprised for it to actually occur this low at only 31. That'd be insanely low. I would think minimum would be 40. But the market will tell us. But definitely, I put like almost no all-time high. George Alexandropoulos, I have not found any examples of it. So his question is, good morning. Is there any assets that have gone on 3 super cycles like Bitcoin has? And if so, what happened in them afterwards? I have not found anything that has done what Bitcoin has done. We're literally did 3 super cycles of the same size. But conceptually, if you have 3 waves, 3 bull waves, what do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you have afterwards? A, B, C. But what do most people think is going to happen? Complacency. They think we're going to new all-time high when we're not. There you go, Pitbull. That's my thoughts. I own some Bitcoin, but I definitely don't own it for. There's only one reason why I own Bitcoin. There's only one reason, and that's just if Bitcoin shifts up higher before the altcoin market, I'll rotate it into altcoins. I'll take that opportunity of like a liquidity squeeze, if where like Bitcoin sucks in the liquidity of the market. If the altcoins go down during that phase or something like that. That I could then sell my Bitcoin for a higher price and could grab altcoins at a cheaper price. But I personally don't own any Bitcoin. thinking that it's going to make me any serious money. I don't think it will. But thank you, George, and thank you, Pitbull. Gino D'Amelio, it is said that patience is a virtue, but I'm ready to get on with this crypto drawdown already so we can move into the moon phase. BCB 2024. Yes, I think we're all ready. We're all ready. Thank you, Gino. Oscar says, noticed a few supporters stuck with BCH from FOMOing. Any BCH TAs on it? BCH is acting just like the rest of the market. So so what is it? Like NASDAQ is coming out with something next week. I saw John Deaton tweeting it, I believe. But I've made this mistake already, right? So like with Bitcoin Cash, it's one of the ones that is not a security. No matter what, I don't care if the SEC comes out and rules XRP a security. Ripple has been doing security offerings. If it rules Cardano, Algo, Arbitrum, Cosmos, AVAX, Binance Coin, Casper, Dash, Doge, Dot, EOS, probably not Doge, but EOS, Ethereum, Filecoin. If they are all securities, I don't think Bitcoin Cash lands in it, no matter what. It is a fork of Bitcoin from the summer of 2017. There was no like pre-IPO. Everybody who had Bitcoin back in that summer of that 2017 bull run got Bitcoin Cash. And everybody should remember who was here. That was a big event, big dispute over all of it. It was like wars going on in crypto at that time amongst Bitcoin maxis on that whole thing and Roger Ver. But I think there's a reason why Robinhood listed it, PayPal listed it. Every exchange out there has Bitcoin Cash, and if NASDAQ does it, it's likely going to have Bitcoin Cash. Question is, will Bitcoin Cash be used in anything? I don't know. I'd say just from that perspective, it's probably got like the safety net of the SEC, like does not have danger in regards to the SEC, but even that not having danger has not positively helped impact price. So it really just seems to be moving with the rest of the market. And so if the rest of the market goes running, I would bet Bitcoin Cash would go with it too. But in order for it to catapult and get some huge market cap, there'd probably have to be something else going on, and that would have to be like, NASDAQ or something like that. We'll see. Oh no. Would you... Hold on. We didn't move the price. Oh, dang it. Maybe it's an error. That's not 10% though. It's like 3. No, it didn't move 10%, digital dunce. Unless you're looking at it somewhere else. No. Oh, good. Unless it's on Bybit. This is something that's NFT. Okay. Moving on. Thank you, Oscar, the agent. Hey, BCB, can you look at Metal blockchain? So they're being integrated with Fed now. I don't know about that, man. I appreciate the super chat. I'll pull it up over here on another page real quick. Never heard of it, man. Integrated with the Fed. I've heard that a million times. Everybody says they're integrated with Fed now. Nobody is. If it was so big, it would be on all the exchanges, right? It would be on Coinbase, it'd be on Binance, it'd be on Kraken. Instead, it's on like the typical S-Coin places like MEXC. After crumbling from $3 down to 4 cents, and now it's kind of had this little pop in the last minute. Probably got like a listing somewhere or something. I don't know, man. Not for me. how you make anything out of a chart like that. It just looks like it was just dumped on people for years is all it looks like. There's no structure. It is just dump city. That wouldn't be for me, and I wouldn't believe that if that were true. That probably sounds like a marketing ploy. But yeah, thank you, the agent. Digital Dunt says BCB Namecoin up 10%. No, it's not. You scared me into thinking it was. Your friendly NP says the developer data is intriguing on Lisk. Ghost Chain starting to see some activity. Any opinion on the project? I haven't looked at Lisk in a long time. I used to own some Lisk. You know, I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos on like the fundamentals of different coins and stuff like that. There was a lot of hope on Lisk, but then it just kind of died out. Nothing really ever ended up happening with it. And in the end, it looks just like every other chart. It doesn't have anything fundamentally strong about it in itself. It's just behaving just like the rest of it. I mean, the positive thing is at least its prices have gotten back down to the levels that we've been talking about for others. We've been talking about for other coins as well. When I say others, I mean this index, others. Lisk also, like, I think they were sponsors at Consensus, and they did also have like a party that they threw. I didn't make it to that because I didn't know in time. I learned a lot from Consensus, and I will do things differently next year. That you have to like RSVP to all these events days ahead of time in order to be able to attend them. If you just try to RSVP on the day of the event, you're likely not going to get your approval in. So Lisk did have something, but I didn't even attempt to go. Let me see what they're... Yeah, they show an increase in development activity last year. But what I would be interested in looking at, though, is what were they like in 2017? What were they like in 2018? Most of the Lisk hype was in 2017. Did they have more than 22 at that time? Did they have like 90? And so that is maybe like a temporary little bounce based off of like long-term stuff. Not sure. This is a bad chart. Let's go look at some. I know Poloniex will have a lot of data on it. There you go. I mean, it's not terrible, right? It's like crash, retrace, reaccumulation, potentially. It looks just like the rest of the market on a lot of this stuff, though. So, not too sure about Lisk. But like your point being is that there was an 83% year-over-year development growth. Unfortunately, in their most recent update that they did in April of this year, they didn't have any Lisk data to see how did they do after the FTX collapse. That's what I'd really be interested in knowing. How many people fell off in relation to the rest of the market since December, and we just don't have that data. So I don't know. Maybe something to keep an eye on. Maybe don't ignore it, or just kind of keep monitoring it. What I'll do. All right, another altcoin. So this will be the last altcoin I do like you look at, and I'm not even gonna promise I'm gonna pull it up on the channel, guys, just because I don't do altcoins. I don't like to do altcoins. It's like the one thing when you guys ask me about altcoins, I'll just tell you this because I love you and I want you to know. When I get asked about altcoins I don't know about, it's like one of the dreadful things I have to do. I'm like, all right, I'll pull it up, but I have to fend off so much stuff. Like that one guy who just tweeted. Who asked me about something? Who asked me about a random coin on Coinbase that had like no liquidity? So like this one right here from the agent, it's his first donation, right? And he asked, can we look at Metal blockchain? They're being integrated with FedNow in July and wondering if you saw anything interesting in the charts. That could be from the best intents, right? You could be doing that from the best intentions. But in my mind, I say to myself, okay, this is something I've never heard of. It's only available on MEXC. It's only on this. And then they're being integrated with FedNow. Is this person donating $5 in an attempt to bring liquidity and get FOMO buying from 1,500 people onto this coin while he dumps it, right? That is the first thought that goes through my head with any question about an altcoin when they get donated. If it's not something that's in like the top 50 or something, that's my first thought. This is a person who's trying to get a pump and dump on the audience, especially when I see it only on MEXC, because MEXC will list anything. And you may not have that intention, the agent, but that's the first thought that goes through my head, especially for somebody with their first donation on a coin that I've never heard of, and it's only available on MEXC, and the narrative is it's integrated with FedNow, which I guarantee it's not. I don't even have to look it up. I know it's not. So now I have to look up this other one. Let's see it. So, okay, Bancor. I've definitely heard of Bancor. Nothing special about Bancor. Same story as all of them. Same story. So I wouldn't see anything in particular with that chart screaming that there's like extra bullishness in there. Like, see, like some of the things that like you look at and you say, hey, they're kind of bullish or different, right? Ethereum is not that exact same chart that you see everywhere, right? Ethereum's still butting up against these highs up here, trying to get into what looks more like a breakout, whereas you have all those other coins sitting way down here, like most of the market's sitting way down here. Or like when you look at like Matic, right? Matic was able to work its way much higher and held it for much longer. I mean, look, it almost retraced like a significant amount of the 2022 fall. Like it got all the way back to April pricing. It was like extreme strength that pulled it off here. Whereas all those other altcoins are sitting down here, where Matic would be about half the price of where it's at right now. I don't own any Matic. I'd love to own some. The price just got too far. It got carried away too far for me. But maybe it's just because it's much stronger than all these other coins out there. But a lot of these altcoins all look the same. And if it looks the same as all of them, it's probably just creeping along with all of them too. But yeah. I'd look for things that maybe are like, at least the things that are catching my attention are things like this. So like this, they look stronger than what everything else is doing. BCB. Thank you, Aquarius. BCB from Rob G says, if you had to choose one, which would your intuition pick? Monero, HBAR, or Bitcoin Cash? Thank you for all the knowledge you have given us. Okay. All right, my intuition would immediately say Monero, but here's the problem. I think society lies. I've realized it. Over time, society lies, and society is ridiculously lazy. They sit there and they complain about stuff, but they do nothing about it. That's the reality. Is if I can sit there and find an avenue to complain about something, then I'm happy. But if I have to do something about it, I'm not going to do it. I'm lazy. That's just society and what they are. And an example of that is just privacy. There's been no bull run in privacy. Like sound money with privacy has had no interest in crypto. Everybody moans and complains about the IRS being able to track them if they spend $600, right? How many people got in an uproar about that? Does that change their behavior in any way? No, they just keep going with the status quo and accept it for what it is. So it has been just astonishing to me that like you would not go into a store, right? You would not go into a store and swipe your credit card if the retailer was allowed to look inside your bank account, see how much money you have, and see every single place that you've spent your money at, and then be able to like market towards you. You wouldn't like that would cause an uproar in society if every retailer you spent your money at could look inside of your bank account and see exactly how much you have in your account, exactly how much you spend, and where you spend it. Nobody would ever let that fly. But that's what Bitcoin is. Everyone's like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's okay. No, it's not. You'll never do that, ever. You have to have some form of privacy, and not necessarily saying you have to hide everything you're doing from the government, but you have to hide it from people on the internet. You have to hide it from malicious people. You have to hide it from retailers. You have to hide it from just anywhere you're spending your money. You can't let people look inside your wallet and see how much money you have. You can't let people look at everywhere that you spend money at. Like, that's not normal. And that's not what we want for money. And like, people ignore that. Like, and that's why we don't do it. That's why we're still not using Bitcoin for anything. You know what I mean? We're not. So if we're ever going to use cryptocurrency as money, ever, privacy is mandatory. Just no matter what. There's zero, straight up, zero chance we will ever use Bitcoin as money, ever. Hard stop. Never. Privacy is a mandatory requirement, but society has just gone lazy. So it's more of like being in love with the narrative of Bitcoin, but we're never going to use it. So my intuition, like you asked, would be Monero. But the reality is society is lazy and they don't care and they're not going to end up using it. So I'd probably go with HBAR. It's got developer growth. It's got a low token price. Those are the things that memers like to chase. They like the low value stuff. There's a community behind HBAR. They're building, they're deving on HBAR. You got NFTs on HBAR. I'd probably, if I had to pick only one, it'd probably be HBAR. So you asked for my intuition. I told you my intuition, but also the cold hard reality about the world. Thank you, Rob. Oscar Hernandez, Dingus Army. That is us. You see, oh, there's a dog. Did you see XRP Productions tweet yesterday? Dingus coin. Mr. Q. Buying 10K of HBAR. Okay, good luck, dude. I didn't tell you to do it. Good luck, though. Dinguses unite. Yep. All right. There we go. I went on a little bit of a rant. I think that's a good way to end all of this, right? A little bit to think about. If you liked the rant, please give this live stream a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. All right. There's like a Bitcoin maxi here who's saying, no, damn you, damn you. All right. That's it, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Let's take a look at the stock market real quick. Getting pummeled. 22 points down for the Dow, but plus 50 for the NASDAQ. Mixed board over here on equities. Loser of the day so far. Coinbase down 3.5%, with Google up a little bit over 2.5%. Tesla up about 1.5% as they do have their shareholder meeting today. Crypto is a mixed bag over here. Bitcoin sitting at a little bit over $27,000. Just teetering along in here. Like I said, at the very beginning of the stream, kind of a boring day here in crypto. I think it's just going to kind of remain like that until we get some broader move. My thoughts are a capitulative move to at least come out of Bitcoin, and then we can knock it off and talking about all this. Again, I posted over there. I posted a newsletter yesterday over there on blockchainbacker.substack.com. There's a link in the description of this YouTube video there. If you'd like to sign up for my premium newsletter, it's got a 22-minute audio voice recording that I did, where I read it and narrate it and comment on it as we go along, for those who like to listen in the car or just like to hear my voice. Wall Street cheat sheet, we did newsletter, gold, sitting up there, threatening to go below that $2,000 level, but still above it right now currently. DXY still paused out in here. News, nothing going on with news. So really it was just kind of a boring day. We just kind of hung out in the chat today. So, all right, that's it, guys. That's really what I'm waiting for over here on Bitcoin. And if you didn't catch my video yesterday, I recommend you catch my video from yesterday. I talked about just like meme coin season and the timing of when those things show up. And that would also still point to there being like a capitulative move over here in Bitcoin. Till then, hopefully we get some kind of action and we get something to talk about. But tomorrow's Wednesday, my dudes. So get ready for fun tomorrow. We'll have a good time. Even if the market's boring, we'll try to make some fun out of it. Otherwise, I'm going to thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all coming out. Man, I'll catch you tomorrow. That's it. If you could, please like this live stream. Gator, his voice lulls you to sleep. If you could, like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.